Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to my channel for another Hot Toys Secret Base figure preview video. Before we begin, I actually have to say thank you to Ryan's friend Matthew. Ryan is currently on holiday in Australia with me, so he couldn't take these pictures at Secret Base. Thank you, Matthew, for going out in person and snapping these awesome high-res pictures. Show Matthew some love in the comments below. Without him, this particular video wouldn't be possible. If you are looking to pre-order your very own modern suit Batman from The Flash, well, the link for that is in the description below for toyswonderland.com. They have pay in full and a loyalty program. Now, it seems Hot Toys, they're doing this more and more often. They have two different versions of Michael Keaton in the Batsuit on pre-order at the same time. You can get yourself the 89 Batman, the 2.0 version, or you can get yourself this one, the modern suit from The Flash. Now, I personally don't know yet which one is my favorite. I'll have to wait and see in the movie. If you're asking me which one is the most iconic, kind of has to go to 89, right? I mean, you can let me know down in the comments below. Which look do you prefer for Keaton's Batman? Before I get any hate, I know, Batman Returns, it's a contender as well. I love that Batsuit. In fact, that was my childhood Batman. Growing up in the 90s, that was the first version of Batman that I was ever exposed to. I went to the cinema and I watched a rerun of that film. So that's why I'm a huge fan of Keaton, and I'm pretty much all in whenever any company announces a new version of Keaton in the Batsuit. Now, this is a peculiar accessory. It's his new cowl, and it's a very interesting design with these kind of spikies along the front. We'll discuss that on the actual suit itself. Yet, to get this, I'm not exactly sure how you go about doing that. They called it some kind of first edition accessory, some sort of exclusive. Maybe you get it from Hot Toys in Hong Kong directly and then you get the exclusive. They haven't, as of the time of filming this video, made it abundantly clear how you actually get that cowl. I suppose we'll just have to wait and see. You do get his Batmobile remote, the little detonator / time bomb that he uses in Batman Returns on the big clown dude, 2 Bat Shuriken, his grappling Batarang with a rope attached, as well as his grappling gun. But for some reason, no just normal Batarang, which is kind of weird. Maybe you can take the rope off the grapnel Batarang and then you can have him hold that one. Then there'll be a hole down the bottom, so I'm not exactly sure what's going on with Keaton's Batman and Batarangs. For now, that'll have to suffice. Just take the rope off and then that can be your Batarang. In terms of head sculpts, we get one in the cowl. If you get somehow the magical special edition first edition version, then you get another cowl that you can't actually have on him, but you can have him hold. And you also get an old man Bruce Wayne head sculpt, and dude is looking old. Not to say that he doesn't look great. Keaton, he's what we call a silver fox. He's, I think, 71, and he still looks fantastic. Yet, there is just a lot of detail to capture in his face. You've got more wrinkles, you've got frown lines, and just more definition all around. And I think that's potentially why this head sculpt looks as good as it does. There are just more facial markers to sell the fact that this is Michael Keaton. When he was younger, smooth skin, less detail, maybe a little bit harder to capture his likeness in 1/6 scale. We all know how that Michael Keaton head sculpt went with the Batman Returns figure. Arguably not fantastic. This one, I think, captures the likeness better. He's older, granted. And the eyes move. Moving eyes are becoming a mainstay, and that makes me so very happy. As does this display base. This is an all-new display base for Keaton's Batman. Just imagine this, just for a second. You have Keaton standing on this one with the yellow translucent section. Then you have Supergirl, if they make her, standing on her display base, the same mold, yet with a House of L symbol up on top. And then we have Flash with the circular display base with the Flash symbol on top. I reckon having those display bases all lined up in the collection, that will look absolutely incredible. And I'm hoping that's what they're doing, keeping it consistent throughout the line. He also comes with this bat glider cape thing. I don't know how many of you all out there are actually going to use this gliding cape. Please, let me know if you are. I certainly am not. It's going right back in the box after the review is done. For a couple of reasons. Number one, it's pleather. And we all know how that goes. Pleather eventually flakes over time. Number two, it's very pose restrictive. When you have him with the gliding cape on, you have to have him in a gliding pose. And number three, his display base does not come with a dynamic flight pole, so you can't even have him in a gliding pose. If only it did, then you can have him swooping down in the display. That would look absolutely awesome. But he doesn't. Just comes with a crotch grabber. Hot Toys? I see that connection. I know that it's compatible with a dynamic flight pole. Why not include both options every single time? Give us the crotch grabber and give us the flight pole. Onto the Batsuit itself. This time, I don't think his boots are Nikes. I could be wrong. We'll have to wait and see, I guess, if someone spots a swoosh in the movie. They are a split-cut boot design. Unlike the 89 Batsuit, the DX version, and the Batman Returns suit, this time it's split-cut. Also, that little panel on the front, that little armor piece coming up over the top of the boot, that just means that it looks almost entirely seamless. And I wouldn't be surprised if when you get this guy, you wouldn't pick that he has a split-cut boot design. But he does. His suit, this time, is not rubber. Thank goodness he can actually pose. And Hot Toys, they went so far as to, in the promo pics, actually tell you that this guy has great articulation. They are touting that this is the most articulated Michael Keaton Batman ever. At least by them. Now, instead of rubber, it looks like rubber. It isn't. If you look closely, you can see that very subtle ribbing on the material, especially on the front of his thigh there. That means that this is some kind of laminated or screen-printed material over the top of just regular old stretchy spandex. And I'm with Hot Toys. I reckon, yeah, this guy is going to have great articulation. However, if you leave him in those poses, unfortunately, you do have the other set of issues that comes along with screen-printed and rubbery material. Cracking, creasing, and unfortunately, potentially sticking to itself over time. He does have a wired cape. For those who like wired capes, I personally prefer a nice drape. Not to put a damper on this cape though, it does look so much better than the DX09 cape. That was a disaster. And then we had the Batman Returns cape, which was just so much worse. At least they have gotten better in the cape department. Now his chest plate and his shoulder pads, they're not actually part of the suit, they're kind of just floating there, which also should help with articulation, I suppose. You can see a very subtle texture and finish mismatch between the suit and those hard armor pieces, yet that doesn't really bother me. I think the blend is close enough that in hand, in person, it's not going to be a huge issue. Something that may be a huge issue, you can see the cowl just sitting up a little bit too high over the shoulders. You can see those spikes on the edges sticking out just a touch. And that creates this kind of weird silhouette. I don't think it's a deal breaker, not by any means. Yet, still potentially something to be aware of. It's just down to the new design for the cowl. There are more panel lines to it, it's a little bit more angular, even more angular than Batman Returns. Remember earlier when I said the Michael Keaton head sculpt has moving eyes? It does. This cowled head sculpt, it also has moving eyes all round. And that just means that if you don't get a ton of articulation out of the cowl, which this Batsuit or the previous iterations of it are known for, you can move the eyes to get a little bit more dynamic with your posing. Then for the mouth plates, 3 different options. The first of which, just a neutral expression. The skin texture, the wrinkling, it all looks good. It actually does look like Michael Keaton in the cowl. Speaking of which, it does look like a dude in the cowl because that mouth plate is inset and you can see a little bit of a shadow around the rim. There is depth there, so it looks like a person's head inside a mask. The second is him smiling. Yes, a goofy expression, yet he does make it, so it's accurate. And the third, his lips just a little bit parted, so either he's saying, "You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts." Or it's used for a mid-battle pose, totally up to you. Either way, I cannot wait to get this Batman. Keaton is my guy, and this Batsuit, it looks sensational. And finally, we have a Keaton Batman that can pose. No more fighting with rubber suits. If you are looking to pre-order him, he is available with toyswonderland.com. Link for that is in the description below. They have Pay in 4 and a loyalty program. While you're down there, why not hit that subscribe, bell notification icon, and join button if you like the sound of seeing your name in the end credits of my reviews. Like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next video.